You eat a normal dinner and you wake up looking 6 months pregnant. You cut out gluten, dairy, and half the foods you used to love, and you're still bloating by noon. You're constipated for 3 days and then suddenly you're not, and you feel completely drained after eating instead of energized. You've mentioned it to your doctor, maybe twice, and you walked out with a pamphlet about IBS or a suggestion to reduce stress, or my personal favorite, this is pretty common at your age. Cool. Super helpful. Really appreciate that. Here's what nobody told you. Your gut and your hormones are not separate systems. They are in constant conversation. And when your digestion is off, your hormones feel it. Estrogen, cortisol, thyroid, insulin, all of it. The bloating, the weight that won't budge, the mood swings, the fatigue, a lot of that is downstream from what's happening in your gut. And the good news is you can do something about it. So today we're going to talk about the gut-hormone connection, what it is, why midlife makes it worse, and what you can actually start doing this week to support both. Because just deal with it is not a strategy. Let's go. Welcome to the Love Your Naked Ass podcast, the Midlife Rebellion edition. I'm your host, Kimberly Riggins, health and life coach, holistic nutritionist, and your go-to bullshit detector for all things midlife. If you've ever rolled your eyes at the phrase aging gracefully, you're my kind of rebel. Because midlife isn't about slowing down. It's about showing up, speaking up, and maybe flipping a few tables along the way. So grab your coffee or your cocktail. I'm not here to judge. It's time we raise some hell, laugh a little, and love our naked asses again. Let's do this. Hey, welcome back. Let's jump right into it. So let's talk about why your gut is in charge more than you think. Most women think of digestion as just, digestion. Food goes in, gets processed, comes out. But your gut is doing a hell of a lot more than that. Your gut lining is where nutrients get absorbed. Your gut bacteria, collectively called the microbiome, produces neurotransmitters, regulates inflammation, and helps metabolize hormones. Yes, your gut bacteria are actually involved in hormone metabolism. There is also a specific collection of gut bacteria called the estrobolome. Try saying that 4 times. Its job is to help metabolize and recirculate estrogen in the body. When the estrobolome is healthy and diverse, estrogen gets processed and eliminated properly. But when it's disrupted by things like antibiotics, chronic stress, a low-fiber diet, and poor sleep, estrogen doesn't clear the way it should. It recirculates. And recirculating estrogen is linked to bloating, heavier periods, mood swings, and in the long run, hormonal imbalance. Now, this is not a supplement problem. This is a straight-up gut problem. Your gut also communicates directly with your brain through what's called the gut-brain axis. About 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut, not your brain, your gut. So when your digestion is a mess, your mood often follows. That's not anxiety. That's not just midlife hormones. That might be just your gut talking to you. So why in midlife does it feel worse? So here's the thing about perimenopause and menopause that really nobody puts together until they're already in it. Estrogen doesn't just affect your period and your hot flashes. Estrogen has receptors throughout your entire digestive tract, in your esophagus, your stomach, your intestines. And as estrogen declines in perimenopause, your digestion naturally slows down. The muscles that move food through your system, they're partially regulated by estrogen. So less estrogen equals slower motility. And slower motility sometimes equals more constipation and, yes, more bloating. So more of that, I ate a normal dinner and woke up looking 6 months pregnant situation. Progesterone also plays a role here. So when progesterone is low, it can actually relax the muscles too much in the wrong places. Hello, bloating again. And also hello, acid reflux that showed up out of nowhere at 46. And then there's cortisol, chronic stress, which most women in midlife are swimming in. And chronic stress directly disrupts gut bacteria. It actually thins the gut lining, and it slows digestion. It also increases gut permeability, which you might know as leaky gut, which is where food particles and bacteria start slipping through the gut wall where they really shouldn't be. And of course, that triggers inflammation. And inflammation makes every hormonal symptom louder. The fatigue, the joint pain, the brain fog, all of it. So you've got declining estrogen slowing things down, you have cortisol disrupting your microbiome, and a gut that's trying to process everything with fewer resources than it had 10 years ago. So is it any wonder you feel like garbage after dinner? You're really not imagining it, I promise. Your gut is doing the math. So I want to share something because I think a lot of you are going to relate to this. Perimenopause did an absolute number on my gut. Like a real number. The bloating, the unpredictability, eating something I'd eaten for years and suddenly feeling terrible afterward. I kept assuming it would level out, but it didn't. And then I had my first colonoscopy, which, if you haven't had one yet, heads up. The prep alone is basically a gut reset button you did not ask to press. My digestion was a complete mess for weeks afterwards. Weeks. And nobody warned me that was coming. Nobody told me it could take that long to get back to something resembling normal. Nobody said, hey, by the way, this wipes out a significant chunk of your gut bacteria and you're going to need to actively rebuild it. So I just waited for it to fix itself. And honestly, even now, with everything I know and everything I do, perimenopause still has my gut in disarray. It's not a problem I've solved yet. Not completely anyway. So what's changed is that I've really just stopped ignoring it and started actually supporting it. And I've done it with things like fiber, with protein, with fermented foods, and managing my stress. And also paying attention to how I feel after I eat instead of just pushing through. Now, that work doesn't make it perfect, but it does make it so much better. And I'm telling you this because I spent a long time thinking it was just something I had to accept. It's not. There is real doable stuff you can do. That's what the rest of this episode will be all about. So before we get into what we do, let's talk about what's working against you. Because I want you to walk away from this episode understanding that this is not a willpower issue. This is not you don't eat clean enough. There are actual disruptors going on here. First one, chronic stress. This one leads the list for a reason. Because stress puts the body in a fight or flight mode, which actively shuts down your digestion. Blood goes to your muscles, not to your gut. And over time, chronic stress erodes the gut lining and wrecks the microbiome. This is the most underestimated gut disruptor for midlife women. Another one, low fiber intake. Your gut bacteria eat fiber, not just any fiber. Diverse fiber from vegetables, legumes, fruits, whole grains. So if your diet is low in fiber, your microbiome starves. And your estrobolome weakens. Estrogen just can't clear it properly. It's not complicated, but most women are just not eating nearly enough. Protein. Let's face it, ladies, we do not get enough protein typically. Your gut lining is constantly renewing itself. That renewal requires amino acids from protein. So under-eating protein means your gut lining repairs more slowly. So for women in midlife who are already under-eating protein, this matters. Another disruptor is antibiotic history. So if you've ever been on antibiotics, and I know most women have, and if you've been on antibiotics multiple times over your life, your microbiome has taken hits. This doesn't mean you did anything wrong, it just means that your microbiome needs intentional rebuilding, not just hoping it sorts itself out. Eating too fast. I know this sounds too simple, but hear me out. Digestion starts in the mouth. Chewing breaks down food mechanically before your stomach ever gets involved. Eating fast, not chewing thoroughly, eating while stressed, these all tax the rest of your digestive system. Your stomach has to work harder, and your enzyme production suffers, so you end up bloated and sluggish. Alcohol. I'm not here to tell you you never should have a glass of wine. I certainly do. But I want you to know what alcohol does in the gut because most women don't. Alcohol disrupts the gut microbiome. It increases gut permeability. It inflames the gut lining. So if you're drinking regularly and wondering why your digestion is a mess, this is part of the picture. And last but not least, poor sleep. Your gut repairs itself at night. So if your sleep is disrupted, hello midlife, that repair cycle gets cut short. Night after night of poor sleep adds up to a gut that's always playing catch up. Let me be clear, none of these are character flaws. They're just circumstances that midlife women are especially likely to be dealing with all at once. So what can we actually do about it? Okay, here's where we get practical. I am not going to give you a 12-step gut healing protocol. I want you to pick one thing from this list and do it for 2 weeks. That's the assignment. One thing, 2 weeks. Add fiber. Specifically, more vegetables and legumes. So aim for 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. Now, I know it sounds like a lot if you're not tracking it. So start by adding one extra vegetable at every meal. Maybe that's a handful of spinach in your eggs, a cup of lentil soup at lunch, or maybe some roasted vegetables at dinner. You don't have to count it, just add it. Eat slower and sit down. Yes, I mean actually sit down, not at your desk, not standing over the sink. Sit. Chew your food more than you think is necessary because that gives your digestive system a chance to get ready before the food hits your stomach. This is absolutely free, and I promise it works. Add fermented foods. I'm talking yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. These introduce live bacteria to your gut, and you don't need to eat all of them. Just pick one you actually like and add it in a few times a week. Reduce stress at mealtimes. All right, listen, I know. I get it, stress is real, but eating while stressed is one of the fastest ways to tank your digestion. Even 5 slow breaths before a meal can signal your nervous system that it's safe to digest. Your gut is listening. Prioritize protein at every meal. Not because protein is the only thing that matters, because it's not, but protein does support your gut lining repair. It slows glucose absorption, and it keeps you full enough that you're not grazing all day on whatever's convenient. So aim for at least 25 to 30 grams of protein at each meal. And last, I want you to consider a quality probiotic. Now, I want to be clear that a probiotic is not a substitute for the foundational work above. A probiotic without fiber is like planting seeds in concrete. So get your fiber in first. Then a probiotic can help. So again, one thing, 2 weeks, pick the one that feels more doable and then start there. So, your action step this week, in addition to picking one thing for 2 weeks, is simple and direct. This week, I just want you to do a gut audit. This is not complicated, just pay attention. Maybe write some things down. Notice how you feel after each meal for 3 days. Are you energized or are you sluggish? Are you bloated or are you comfortable? Are you clear-headed or foggy? You don't need to log macros or go on a special diet, just notice. Because awareness is the first move here. You cannot fix something you haven't been paying attention to. Most women have been eating the same way for years and just accepted how they feel afterwards as normal. But it's not always normal. Sometimes it's information, so pay attention this week. All right, let me leave you with this. Your gut is not just your stomach. It's your immune system, your mood regulator, your hormone processor. And it is one of the most important foundations you can build on in midlife. And it's the one women have never been given real information about. You've been told to eat less, to cut carbs, to white knuckle your way through bloating and brain fog and mood swings. Nobody told you to look at your gut. Nobody connected the dots between what's happening in your digestion and what's happening with your hormones and your energy and your mental clarity. Everyone wants you to go on GLP-1s and peptides and all the things without actually looking at the foundational pieces first. Let me be clear. Your gut is a foundational thing that you need to pay attention to. Now, none of this is your fault, but now you know, okay? And knowing changes everything. And that's the whole point. All right, Rebels, next week, we're going to dig into cortisol, specifically what chronic stress is actually doing to your body in midlife, why it's not just a mindset problem, and what you can do to start bringing it down. Because stress isn't just making you anxious, it's literally wrecking your metabolism, your sleep, your hormones, and even your gut. And we're getting into it all next week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And if this episode connected some dots for you, please share it with a woman you know who's been dismissed one too many times, because she needs to hear this too. I'll talk to you next week. And that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Love Your Naked Ass podcast, the Midlife Rebellion edition. If you're loving the show, be sure to smash that subscribe button, drop a rating, or leave a review. Because we're not here to tweak the old narrative. We're here to torch it, rewrite it, and make damn sure every woman knows midlife is her prime. Don't forget to join me on Substack at Rebel Midlife, where we get raw, real, and a little rebellious about what it means to thrive in this chapter. I'm Kimberly Riggins, signing off with this reminder: midlife isn't a crisis, it's your comeback story. Catch you next time, Rebel.